Zoe was frozen in her tracks. She remembered serving this man the day before and feeling uneasy the moment she laid her eyes on him. She watched him sit down with a stern expression on his face, and his large hands gripped the menu as she took his order. So why was he back now? Was he back for her? Then suddenly, without hesitation, the man reached inside his rucksack and pulled something out. The moment he did, Zoe felt sick to her stomach. There was no coming back from this. Zoe Morgan had worked as a waitress for the past 2 years. Despite the long and grueling hours and sometimes rude customers, Zoe knew that there were worse jobs to have. But when she started her shift one cold Tuesday morning, she had no idea her entire world was about to be turned upside down. Working as a waitress was not Zoe's dream. Far from it. You see, with every dollar she earned, she put towards her dream of moving to New York City. All her life, Zoe had dreamed of making it big on Broadway. She fantasized about singing to thousands of adoring fans while on stage. But this dreamer had no idea what was coming to her. You see, it's not that Zoe hated her job as a waitress. She was good at it, and her colleagues and customers were pretty nice. It was just that Zoe knew she was destined for more than dishing out people's food. But Zoe never could have predicted what would happen when started another shift at the busy restaurant. The clock struck 7:30 a.m. and Zoe let out a yawn while she rubbed her tired eyes. Today was another long shift at the restaurant. She slumped herself out of bed and got herself ready, thinking it was just going to be another ordinary day. But she was so wrong. Zoe arrived at work ready for another long day of taking people's orders and handing them their food. The restaurant had already started to get busy, but then suddenly, in the corner of her eye, Zoe saw a man sitting in the corner. She didn't know why, but as soon as she laid her eyes on the man, an uneasy feeling hit the pit of her stomach. Zoe went over to the man to take his order. For some strange reason, the man made her feel very uncomfortable. As she caught a glimmer of his face, she thought she recognized him, but she couldn't put her finger on it. The more she spoke to him, she wondered if he was from the area at all. Perhaps he just didn't dine out often. However, the man sat there with a stony expression, all while an uneasy feeling crept up Zoe's spine. Being friendly, Zoe tried to strike up a conversation. However, no matter what she did, the man would simply nod. She watched as his large hands gripped tight onto the menu. He ended up ordering pancakes and a large coffee. That was the most conversation she got from him. She felt oddly relieved to walk away from the table. However, she felt his gaze on her as she went to the kitchen. With the restaurant getting busier, Zoe got out her notepad ready to take on another customer's order. But as she made her way over, she noticed a breaking news segment flash on the television, hung idly on the wall. Her eyes were glued to the television and her ears perked up as the presenter reported that a dangerous man was on the loose. They urged people not to approach him. A strange feeling hit the pit of Zoe's stomach as she saw the mugshot of the dangerous man. While Zoe scrambled around the restaurant trying to get everybody's orders, she made sure she kept her eye on the man in the corner. After taking some dirty dishes to the kitchen, Zoe walked out and saw the man in the corner indicate Zoe to come over. She made her way over, her heartbeat in her throat. The man was finished with his breakfast and asked for the bill. With a fake smile plastered on her face, Zoe reached in to collect his dirty dishes. However, as she picked up his plate, Zoe saw something in the man's backpack that made her stop in her tracks. Was this some kind of joke? After seeing what the man had in his backpack, Zoe knew she couldn't keep quiet about it. She quickly collected his plates, took them to the kitchen, and then ran and told her manager what she saw. Her manager was equally lost for words. They needed to do something and they needed to act fast. Together, they devised a plan. Zoe got the man's receipt and scribbled something on it. Zoe looked at her manager and the two could feel the tension in the room. Zoe went and gave the man his receipt before saying goodbye. But this wasn't goodbye for Zoe. After serving that strange man and seeing what he had inside his rucksack, Zoe felt uneasy all afternoon. She had a feeling something bad was just about to happen. But little did this waitress know that what was coming to her the day after. The following day, Zoe was back at work and ready for another day on her feet, but she still couldn't get the man and what she saw in his rucksack out of her mind. She watched as people started to enter the restaurant, hungry for food. She saw the locals and regulars, and she greeted them with a friendly smile. But Zoe had no idea who else was about to walk through the door. After taking a few orders, Zoe then saw a man walk through the door, but it wasn't just any man. It was the man from yesterday. What was he doing back here? He made his way over to Zoe, and Zoe stood frozen in her tracks. She felt sick to her stomach. "Can I talk to you, please?" the man said, his voice deep and authoritative. Zoe felt panic wash over her. She had no idea why he was there. Was he back for her? Then suddenly the man reached inside his rucksack and pulled something out. The man got out his police ID and showed it to Zoe. It was what Zoe saw the day before in his bag. "I want to talk to you about what you wrote on my receipt," the man said. His eyes were looking straight at Zoe, and she knew there was no coming back from this. When Zoe saw the man's police ID the day before, she ran and told her manager about it. The two then decided to write something on the receipt, and it was something that left the police officer lost for words. Zoe and her manager had given the meal to the officer for free, and even left a heartfelt message at the bottom. The manager knew how important the police force was in her town, and so did Zoe. The police officer thanked Zoe and her manager and gave them a $78 tip. But then the police department posted a picture of the receipt on Twitter. Nobody was expecting what would happen next. The picture of Zoe's heartfelt message was shared over 1,000 times. Within 48 hours, people all across the globe were aware of Zoe and her manager's kind gesture. As for Zoe and her manager, they hope that the simple act will get others to give thanks to the people who so badly need it. Did you like the story? Check out our channel for more.